Hello, I'm Claire Smith and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about the ways in which you are prompted to spend more money on perfume than perhaps you otherwise would. And yes, I know that also comes from YouTube, but it also comes from designer houses and from perfume retailers. They all have particular tricks that they use to try to get you to spend more money. And I just thought I'd go through them and basically tell you what to look out for. This video was really prompted by someone asking me what bottle size to buy of a particular perfume, and it got me thinking about some particular psychological tricks that marketers use to try to get you to buy more of something or to point you to a certain product. Some of them are really obvious and others are not so obvious, and I'm going to start off with the most obvious and go to the least obvious. So the first one I'm going to talk about are free gifts when you buy something. So there might be a threshold spend. The threshold spend is generally set somewhere just above the 50ml price point to get you to either purchase something else or to perhaps purchase a larger bottle of the perfume. And the free gifts are generally other perfumes but in sample form. So you might get some free samples of some newly launched perfumes, or you might get a travel size of another perfume, for example. And these freebies really can do wonders for the brand because they can prompt you to want to buy another perfume or another product, or they can lead you into purchasing other items from their brand, for example makeup with a lot of designer houses. This leads into my second point. So if you receive something for free from a brand, you're more likely to purchase there again. It's a reward, it's something that you didn't pay for that is basically a gift from the brand. So you feel some kind of loyalty generally to the brand, and you're more likely to go and look at their products again because you've had a good experience. So that's a positive thing for the brand, and it also means that you're more likely to experience more of their products, so you're more likely to make another purchase. So the third thing is that if you're in store, you may not get a free sample, but at least you can go and try the perfumes. How many times have you bought a perfume just as a result of trying one in store? If you can touch and hold the products and go and spray them and experience them, you are far more likely to buy than if they are behind locked cabinets. There are lots of psychological studies saying that if you hold a product in your hand, you are far more likely to make a purchase. That's why makeup testers are such a thing. Even products that don't technically need testers sometimes have testers, which I find ridiculous. But when you think about it, it's just because you're more likely to actually interact with that product, and therefore you're more likely to buy it. Point 4 is that stores try to get across a feeling of conformity. They try to get you to see that other people have purchased that product. They try to get you to see that that product is popular. And by showing that to you, by showing you, say, that it's the pick of the week, or that the number of people who've bought that product this week on a website perhaps, or how many they've sold, that shows you that people value that product. That shows you that other people believe that product is worth that money. And that encourages you to believe that it's also worth that money and to make that purchase. YouTube also has this effect because it shows you people who've bought these products and who are enjoying them, and that is a really powerful marketing strategy, and that's why so many brands employ YouTubers to talk about their products, because it works. Personally, if I see 5 to 10 YouTubers all talking about the same product, who've all bought it with their own money, who've not got it free through PR or something, I am so interested in trying that perfume. There is nothing that persuades me to go and try a perfume or to blind buy a perfume like other people loving it on YouTube. So the fifth way that stores get you to believe that products are worth the price they're asking is by creating signage to give you kind of anchoring for the price point. So they might give you the RRP, the recommended retail price, and they might show you how they're undercutting that. And of course in perfume, quite often the RRP is kind of meaningless because certain perfumes you will never see for sale at the RRP. A good example I can think of is D&G's 3 L'Impératrice. How many times have you ever seen that for sale for £56? Normally you will pay about £28 for that perfume. It is rare to see that perfume full price. And shops know this. Shops know that you generally don't know the price point of every single perfume out there, and they take advantage because people generally have an anchor point of the first other price they've seen. But that basically shows you that you need to shop around because stores only show you what they want to show you, don't they? They don't show you their competitors' price points. So point 6 is the one that I originally spoke about. So what happens when you've selected the perfume that you want to buy? Which of those bottle sizes do you buy? So generally perfumes come in 3 sizes. They normally come in a 1 ounce, a 30ml, a 1.7 ounce, which is a 50ml, and a 3.4 ounce, which is a 100ml bottle. So how are those bottles priced? Well, generally if you buy a larger volume, you get a smaller price per mil. They're generally a better value for money. But the price points kind of pigeonhole you to one option, and the option is generally the middle size. The small size looks like the poor value for money because of the price per mil, and the 50ml, which is nearly double the volume, will generally be less than half again of the 30ml price, and that just means that that looks like the better deal. The 100ml might be breaking that £100 mark, which puts consumers off, so it might be above a threshold spend. So the 50ml looks like a sweet spot. The 50ml is the one that consumers generally go for. It's generally the safer choice. And yeah, perfume pricing generally pushes you towards that. So I'm going to put a graph up of Dior perfume pricing. So I chose Dior because Dior is generally a brand that isn't as discounted. Basically, the best discount you're going to find on Dior and Chanel perfumes is going to be about 10%. So with the 30ml and the 50ml, there's about a price difference of about £24, with the 30ml being £59 to begin with. So you can see why the 50ml would look like the better choice, whereas the 100ml is £118. And to get from £83 to £118, it seems like a bit of a leap, and it might just be a little bit too much for most people, but it still is at that sort of tempting price per mil to make you want to buy the larger size if you want more of that perfume. So there's definitely a strategy to how perfumes are being priced. So this strategy of pricing is commonly called the decoy effect. So the 30ml is in fact there as a decoy. It's there to show you just what a great deal the 50ml and the 100ml are in comparison. But in effect, the 30ml provides the default option. So the 30ml reflects what consumers would normally purchase without outside influence of price per mil. Customers generally go for the cheapest option when presented with options. So another thing that perfume brands do to try to encourage a purchase are to give you different packaging options. And I must say I've been taken in by this one for sure. So I remember when I was buying Jean Paul Gaultier's Scandal by Night, and I looked at the 30ml of this perfume and I just didn't want it because it had those dangly legs. Why did I want the dangly legs when I could have the ones akimbo in the air? I'm going to have the ones akimbo in the air. I bought this, one for the scent, clearly, but also for the bottle. I just loved the legs in the air. And I was not going to settle for the dangly ones on the 30ml. So yeah, they totally took me in with this one. So this is a 50ml, and you also get the legs in the air on the 90ml. And that could be just because it's difficult to manufacture with this in a smaller size, or it could have been too expensive for the brand to offer that for the 30ml. But really, I think it's just a cheap marketing ploy, basically, to get people to choose the larger sizes. And I've seen this with other Jean Paul Gaultier perfumes as well. So also with La Belle, they have a different bottle design. You don't get the lovely collar that you get on the 50ml and the larger sizes. So yeah, I think this is totally on the brand's part, some kind of marketing ploy to try to get you to buy the 50 on the larger size bottles, just because you want those design details on the bottles. So another strategy that perfume houses use is an illusion of scarcity. So we've all been familiar with the Minuit et Demi debacle with Fragrance de Bois, where they said it was a limited edition, and then they suddenly had another load of this limited edition. And it's kind of frustrating, really, because it's confusing the consumer, isn't it? And it's a little bit wrong. You see this a lot in makeup marketing. A lot of limited editions then come back. I can think of many Becca products where they were super hyped on YouTube and they sold out, and then they came back again as permanent additions to the line. So yeah, I think it's just underhand, basically, is how I feel about the whole thing. And it's just not on. You can't do that. And then we can also see the examples of houses that love to discontinue really, really popular perfumes. So for example, Kilian, they seem to love to discontinue things that are in their prime and still selling well. And that just creates a hype around their brand. That just makes people purchase things because they know that there is that risk of it being discontinued very quickly. And I think that just creates a lot of hype, doesn't it? That creates people getting excited. And there's also that hype around unicorn perfumes. There's that fear of missing out. Perfume houses also create limited edition bottles, which I think is probably the most annoying thing of all, actually. Black Opium at YSL is a notorious producer of limited edition bottles. And I just don't see it. I don't see it. It's pointless. Why would you want the same perfume but in a different bottle? I mean, I'm not a collector, so this is probably why I don't see it, because I just want a different scent. But it just blows my mind, basically, as to why people buy those limited edition bottles. Unless you run out of that perfume, you're going to repurchase anyway, and you might as well have it in a different bottle. But why would you go out and buy a limited edition bottle when you already own that perfume? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So the final trick that I can think of is risk-free buying, risk-free purchasing. So brands like Dossier were notorious for this. So they give you guarantees. They say that if you don't like the scent, then you can send it back. Or they used to include a little free sample. So you try the sample, not open the bottle. And if you liked the sample, then you could keep the bottle. And if not, you could send the bottle back. Now they don't provide the free sample, but you can try the bottle risk-free and you can send the bottle back. And that is because there is a psychological effect called loss aversion. So people are far less likely to want to lose something than to not have something in the first place. So if people are given something and then have it taken away, that is far more hurtful than never having that thing in the first place. So that's why that strategy works, because only when people absolutely hate the product would they be likely to return it. If they're on the fence about it, they might still keep it because they've got it already. It's effort to return it, so why would they? This is a strategy that really, really works with perfumes, and I think that a number of brands are trying this now. I think I've seen a lot of other brands saying that if you try it and you don't like it, you can return it for free. And that is something I've never really seen in the UK. I think it's more common in the US, but it's really not been a thing in the UK before. I think this effect is something that's grown out of the pandemic. I think a lot of people have been blind buying perfumes online. And I think now the pandemic is over, people are generally going to stores and trying things, and perhaps the perfume purchasing has gone down slightly. But if you're an online-only brand, how are you going to get people to try your perfumes and to buy your perfumes? You can offer low-price sample sets, or you can probably do something that is going to be more likely to result in a higher price purchase and offer risk-free returns. It's risky, but it could pay off for you as a brand. So that's the last strategy, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, please press the like button and please also consider subscribing. So which of these strategies has worked on you in the past? I'm sure I'm not alone in loving those legs akimbo kind of bottles on Scandal. And also, please let me know if you can think of any other strategies. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.